Welcome, everyone, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have never seen a DNN Hot Take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement and we talk about a certain TV show, movie, or game. Today, it's going to be a TV show, and that TV show is Marvel's Wonder Man. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss with me, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Well, Gooch, I hope you're doing wonderful today, because I'm excited to talk a little Wonder Man.
Wonderfully cold.
Yeah, I know. It's chilly down here. It's brisk. It's cutting through you like a fucking knife.
For once in Trio's life, he's not talking about being hot on the podcast.
I'm cold down here, actually. My little toes.
This is the coldest winter we have ever had.
It's been the one I can remember, that's for sure.
Dude, did you go out last night? Did you walk out?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude, we drove. We went to Morgan's and literally I was fighting it on the highway.
I went out to, we got Delco steaks, and I was like, this is miserable. I'm like, I went out on Friday night. It is so much colder last night than it was Friday night.
It's insane.
Crazy.
It's insane. And the wind specifically, the way it cuts through you is insane.
But that's enough about the weather. Let's talk about our latest Marvel Spotlight.
Yeah, and our latest Marvel review. What was the last Marvel review we did?
Daredevil season 1.
Oh, right, Daredevil. Okay, so that was after.
I mean, Ironheart was way before that. We missed that.
Yeah, we didn't get to it. Yeah.
I feel like was there another project that we didn't watch?
Zombies. You watched it, but we didn't review it, I should say.
Yeah. Does that did you watch Zombies?
No.
Oh,
yeah. No, I know. That's why. Yeah, no, I didn't. That's the only. That's not. I'm not saying we didn't review it.
I feel like it has been a while since we've sat down and talked Marvel.
Yeah, it has been. So it's nice to be back. And I actually will say I'm excited to talk about this one personally. So.
Yeah. Can I?
I was going to say, you want to know? Yeah, you start off. Yeah.
I'll start with this. Yeah. So, this is an interesting show. I liked it, but I also there's some aspects of Wonder Man that I did not love.
Sure.
And the biggest question I feel like when I finish this show, I'm asking okay, is Wonder Man, its formula, how it goes about telling a superhero story without really telling a superhero story? Is this the answer to Marvel's problem by doing Marvel products that aren't really Marvel products? But then that also makes me question, is this really a Marvel product? Because is a good Marvel product not a Marvel product, but in turn a Marvel product? You see where I'm going here? It's a very weird...
I would say a good Marvel product is a TV movie or show that come out that we enjoy. You know what I mean?
Right, but it's it's sucking the tropes, the typical tropes out of what would normally be a Captain America or an Iron Man or the standard fare. This is anything but standard fare.
But I would say also there's a lot of things that do that are comic books too, set within the universe of Marvel. So it's funny you said to me at the beginning of this, you're I wonder if this is the direction Marvel is going to go with TV, right, or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good direction because this feels wholly and totally its own thing, while very much acknowledging that it's within the Marvel universe and not being well, it's the weird guy with the shield.
Remember
or whatever.
New York?
Yeah, it's what, Stars and Stripes Man came? But no, they're very much referencing what's going on, and there are things that are connecting. But this is about Wonder Man. This is an 8-issue series, if you will, about Wonder Man's origin and how that sure, there are elements from the MCU that tie into it, especially with obviously
Iron Man.
Yeah, and I love that.
The only required viewing for this is Iron Man 3. I think not knowing who Trevor Slattery is at this point probably
they explained it, I think, pretty well.
They explain it just enough, but I think watching Iron Man 3 just to be oh, okay, this is what the Mandarin was. Shang-Chi is where Trevor Slattery returns from Iron Man 3.
Right.
And he references that once or twice. But not necessarily necessary for the plot. But
right.
Yeah, it's not you can walk into the show pretty damn blind in terms of Marvel recent offerings.
Yes,
and which is good.
And it doesn't have the classic supervillain superhero dichotomy. The villain, quote unquote, of this season is the Department of Damage Control. They're trying to fill up their facilities. Honestly, a very realistic thing of our funding's running out. We need to make more arrests, basically. That's how fucking cops work, too, which is insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, they pull more people over at the end of the month
to make these quotas, and basically that's what's happening with this new state-of-the-art detention facility. So the Department of Damage Control is trying to basically just find something Simon is doing wrong. And I did think going into this actually that Simon didn't know he had superpowers. But as you,
Right, I was also being like,
does he know this? Is he
Right.
trying to hide it? And then they very quickly get over that hump of like, no, he knows. He's trying to hide it because of this new rule in Hollywood where you obviously can't be a superhero in movies.
let's start there because that's sort of, we get a prequel episode called Doorman, which I hated and liked at the same time. More hated because I'm like, they basically tell the origin of like why superheroes are not allowed in film, and it's basically, this is a real comic book character, by the way. I'm like,
Doorman,
look this up. Yeah, and it's basically just like this character who gets, the Josh Gad thing was kind of weird. I'm like, why is Josh Gad in this? Why? Who cares about Josh Gad?
It was something. It's a real actor they could get. I did like seeing real actors show, and the guy from The Matrix even showing up.
Yeah, Sopranos. John Pantaleone.
Yeah,
I think is that how you say his name? Yeah. He's Matrix, Sopranos.
Right.
Yeah, among a lot of other things. The first Nolan movie.
Oh, right. Yes. Duh. Memento.
Yeah. Weird seeing actors be themselves for the first time in like Marvel. This is very interesting. How did we get here? What were we talking about? You made a point, and I got on a tangent about the actor.
You were talking.
I was gonna make a point off of something.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Was it his powers?
It was his power. Yeah, we were talking about how his powers.
Oh,
he didn't
Doorman.
know. Yeah.
Doorman.
Oh, Doorman. Right.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, this bit's going on way too long. But like, I understand why they're telling this, but like, it's happening at like a very odd time in the middle of the season. But you could not have told it in like the first or second episode. And I mean, we're kind of seeing Simon Williams. Simon Williams, down on his luck to actor, just kind of like trying to get a job. And it's very long in the tooth about him, meeting Trevor Slattery and the Wonder Man project and
him trying to
attached
perfect his craft and all
right.
that.
And it's really long in the tooth. And then the last two episodes, everything kind of speeds up. But like, I think the last two episodes were the best for me. And most of the show, I was kind of like, not bored, but like, this is an interesting way to tell a Marvel story. But like,
it's a drama first, rather than like a superhero thing, which is funny to me.
I'm just like, not that I needed it to be different, but I guess I was like kind of conflicted about like, is this what I want Marvel projects to be? Like kind of like hidden, like for them to be taken more seriously than a typical The Marvels, Captain America Brave New World, they have to do something so different that they're so not superhero. Like, so you know what I'm getting at?
I don't, it's not that for me. I think it's that this shows that they can do really great things if they allow a creative person to come in and make what they want to make. Like, this isn't stuck to the blueprint of what a Marvel movie is.
Right.
They were given the free reign to make the project they wanted to make within this universe, and I think that is the key to Marvel's success. We've talked about the Marvel method before and how, you get onto a movie, you're signed on as the director, all of the action scenes have been planned out, and, you're just basically filling in these things. You're basically just a yes-man director. Mm-hmm. That's not what this felt like at all to me. This felt like a director's vision for what they saw this series being, a showrunner's vision.
For sure.
And they executed on
it. Day Cretin?
Daniel, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, because, we talk about that, like speaking of the Marvels, like, they have a story written and they're sort of just like giving the director the like 25% vision to do what they
and
want
probably
to
barely
do.
even that. And that's the unfortunate thing with Marvel and how I think they do, dig themselves out of this. Allow some of their creative heads these moments, these offshoots like this. This isn't going to affect the wider Marvel universe.
No.
And that's fine.
My debate is like, okay, like, how does Wonder Man come back into this?
But I also think he could
at this stage of the MCU.
I think he can easily show up because he does seem pretty fucking powerful, like comparatively to a lot of the superheroes out there. I think this leaves him in a perfectly ambiguous place where they can easily make another season and just have him stay on his own. Or if for some reason he folds back into the Avengers or he shows up, that's cool with me too. I like that idea. I think they're better off with their TV shows, almost doing what they did in the outset. Have them be their own thing. Don't worry about it. with
Daredevil, Jessica Jones,
not
Luke Cage,
necessarily
Iron
to that degree where like you're saying Stars and Stripe Man attacks New York and you don't really want to review anything.
I know.
But like to the point of what they did in this, they're referencing Trevor. They're referencing the wider world.
he's in it.
Exactly, they're referencing Iron Man 3. You see the Department of Damage Control. All that stuff is there because it exists in the MCU. It's not ignoring it, but that's not the point. The point is Simon's story.
Simon Williams. Yeah.
And I think, his whole journey is interesting to me. And his dichotomy with his family and like how he's a struggling actor. And like, it was funny when he's like getting into it with his brother. He's like, well, what the fuck are you, Simon? I'm like, well, what do you care? Like, he's an actor and he's struggling, but he's doing fine. And then he gets into it. He's like, no, I've been supporting him. Like, this is my money. We're taking care of you while you're doing your floundering acting career. What the fuck are we doing here? I kind of like how Simon was a little bit of a piece of shit to a degree, especially.
Yeah, he definitely. I think I don't really know much about this comic book character at all, and I think he is kind of like a piece of shit.
So he was a villain when he was first introduced.
Okay.
I believe,
but he has that, like you're saying, this edge to him that kind of like. I think when he gets fired from the American Horror Story thing, it's like, dude, I think you're like overstepping here.
100%, and that's on purpose for sure.
Right?
Yeah,
they're sort of leaning into this not villain aspect of his character, but like sort of like
self-reflection,
sort of like a character flaw of like his personality.
Yeah,
and just in like not like, oh, he's a bad person, but like he's kind of coming off a bit dickish,
and he's always been kind of odd too, and by himself, and like, and I think that comes from obviously his powers. He doesn't want to show anyone his powers. Like that is a big thing. Him growing up,
fire incident,
he's just trying to ignore them and act like they don't happen. And then the whole doorman clause thing happens, and then that's a whole nother layer to his acting career. He has to worry about people finding that out. That can be an allegory for a number of different things that you could name if you wanted. And I think it's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't think there's it's just more like that idea of like, you have to hide your true self, and that's not fun. But I like this idea, even when he has that moment with Trevor, he's like, you're not your powers. You're your experiences, you're who you are. Like that's who they're trying to find out about. They're not trying to dig deeper and find out you have superpowers. Obviously you don't want them to. But yeah. I think that's interesting.
What I really liked about Wonder Man was Trevor Slattery.
I did, dude. Both of them together, in my opinion, I thought worked very well.
The Mandarin ended up being a very throwaway character, which I think a lot of people ended up really not liking. You'll never see me coming. I think the way they set up the Mandarin in Iron Man 3 is like kind of cool. Like this new, this new age sort of like terrorist sort of thing. And then it's like, oh no, it's just like a sham.
Yeah.
And then they play it into a joke in Shang-Chi. And in this, they kind of bring it back where the consequences of characters' actions, especially villains, actually matter.
Right.
And I really liked how they approached this. And, they're using Trevor to get to Simon. And, the Mandarin stuff comes up, and he's tried to get away with it,
get away from it, right?
Yeah, Trevor seems to be pretty clean at this point.
Yeah, 13 years sober.
He's getting his act together. But at the same time, when he goes back to be the Mandarin to take the fall for Simon, I was like, fuck.
He just sinks into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked it. And, again, it felt like there was it wasn't just we threw him in jail. There really felt like there was this consequence of this man, this actor, deciding to portray a terrorist for a villain. I don't think we've ever really seen this fallout of the consequences of a villain's actions like this.
Specifically like this for sure.
Yeah, where it's it's not Loki, it's not a big villain, but it's a smaller
someone who can be put in jail.
Right, somebody who can easily face
human justice.
Exactly, Trio. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when they bring him back, and then he's so willing to sort of throw it away because he's he realizes he's already kind of thrown it all away.
Yeah.
And
and just he's developed this relationship with Simon, and I do think their growth throughout the series was very well earned.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. And also when they're talking about the stuff doing movies post Wonder Man, and they're at the table, and he's like, "Why is Slattery here?" And it's kind of funny because they're boys, but also that's when the Simon's character flaws come out. He's he's kind of like being an uppity actor.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, when people sit down on like Mike Rosenbaum's podcast and they talk about like, you ever work with, you know, he loves asking actors, you ever work with somebody who's just like a dick? And then like, you know, an actor either, you know, has like a story to tell about somebody. Like this is like kind of like that moment.
He's overstepping his bounds a little bit there.
Right. They're being a dick on set and like, you know, it was over nothing. And, you know, like he's changing his food order every 7 seconds, like a very privileged actor might actually do.
I also did appreciate like the look behind the scenes of like the movie stuff. Like it's cool to it was meta enough
set.
to where it felt cool and interesting to me, but not overly meta to where like She-Hulk was. Where it's like, all right, you're acknowledging all these flaws, like we said before, that you are seeing, but it doesn't seem like
process,
you're but it seems like you're not really doing anything to fix them. Whereas this, it's just like you're looking into the background, like he's talking about self-tapes and like how the audition process works and like he's got to go around, and I like that the self-tape episode a lot, actually, when they're trying to track down the dude, and the guy shows up with the gun, and they're like, we gotta get out. I don't know why. It felt very like, I don't even know. Like, almost like Always Sunny in Philadelphia to me, kind of, to a degree. Like, there was some very funny moments that I really appreciated.
I as you were talking, like I can see you like the show better than I do.
Sure.
And you're not as hung up about some of the points that I'm hung up about. And I'm sitting here like kind of like listening to you talk, and I'm like, what's my problem?
You know what, Gooch? Thank you. No. Yeah,
I think I'm kind of just. It's not that I want to like it more. It's just like, what is Marvel? What project is Marvel going to come out with that I'm really just going to adore wholeheartedly and like really champion? Because it's not Wonder Man, but it's it's also not Daredevil Born Again. Right. I like Daredevil Born Again, but like it's standard fare. We know what we're getting into here. Like we're not going to watch season 2, which is probably going to be the next Marvel thing we watch. I think it is the next Marvel thing in March.
Yeah.
Which is not too far away.
That's actually crazy.
And we're going to be like, yeah, we're having a standard Marvel conversation again. And maybe we get Spider-Man in that. Who knows what's going to happen. Well, but like it's standard fare. But then this isn't, and then maybe that's good that it's not. But then I'm like, well, like it's not Marvel, and that's what's good about it. Isn't that a problem that a Marvel thing is not Marvel, but like that's why people like it?
But
like,
you know, I guess there's enough Marvel in this to me that it very much feels Marvel. But it just feels like a different angle to approach these movies. You know what I mean?
You're on point with what you're saying. It feels like what they did with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and those original Netflix shows. Like,
again,
that's
exactly
what this feels like.
And even sorry, go ahead.
I feel like at this point, that's not enough.
But again, I don't even think it necessarily. Like, I think this one's. You saw, like, they might get a second season. This is getting good word of mouth because it's something fresh and interesting, and like it isn't the regular Marvel formula, but it does feel Marvel to me. I don't know.
It's 20 to 30 minutes. It's 30-minute episode lengths,
and for a show like this, works
kind of good. Yeah.
100%. That was definitely, I think, one of the better aspects of it.
Usually,
and
never
they dropped it all at once.
Never, yeah. Well, and then everyone, I think Marvel in the past drops it all at once because they don't have faith in it. They did it with Ironheart. They did it with Echo.
Well, I was going to say post their kind of.
Actually, did they do it with Ironheart?
I don't know if they did, but this is all post TV reorientation. Yes. So like now they are very much
and now we have
folding away from the TV. The only thing that I feel like they're fully committed to at this point TV wise is obviously Daredevil. Other than that,
nothing.
They were like, I think they are fully in the mode of like, we're not really doing that unless it's a big hit. This could be a hit enough for them to bring him back a second time. They really could.
I'm curious because we are at the end of like that bigger slate of television shows.
Yeah.
This was it. Yeah. And I was always like, what the fuck is Wonder Man? I didn't watch any trailers for this.
The trailers were, that's what interested me to begin with.
I went in pretty blind.
Yeah.
Which is really rare. Like when they were getting posted, I'm just like.
Even like the title.
That should say a lot to you.
I think that just shows where you're at personally with Marvel and all
personally,
that.
Though, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I almost was like, Trio, are we reviewing this? And I started watching it and I said, yeah, we're reviewing
I think we should. And again,
it wasn't even like a conversation. Right. It was just like,
let's do it. Yeah. And again, I think that also comes from the good word of mouth. Like it's sitting at like a relatively good score on Rotten Tomatoes for both of them. People are talking about it. I think you have two fantastic leads. There's like, it's weird. There's a lot of like little, like this almost reminds me of The Nice Guys in certain respects, even too. Just like I really love their dichotomy together. And if the show wouldn't work if that didn't work, but it's cool that it did. And I think bringing in a character like Wonder Man, who people really aren't super familiar with, I don't know much about him before this. Like I said, he was apparently in like his original version, he was given powers by Zemo to infiltrate the Avengers, and then like he ends up becoming a hero. But then I do think he's also like a movie star in the comics and stuff like that. So he's an interesting character.
Is there a DC character that's kind of like this? I'm trying to think of like a superhero who's also an actor.
I don't know. So what is funny though, Wonder Man does show up in a Guardians movie for a second in a cameo, and you know who plays him? Nathan Fillion. He's on a movie poster in the background when Peter Quill's at the it's a flashback with him with his dad at like the movies or something like that. So he was referenced in this before this, which is funny.
Really?
Yeah. That was the only time though.
And it seems like something James Gunn would do.
It was just in the background.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. I think Wonder Man's a fantastic time. Even like when you see the title card, you know from the outset this is gonna be different. It's not the classic Marvel like Avengers,
and the
cool font or whatever.
The music,
yeah, like it's Wonder Man written in like an almost like
and like it's a serif
like
font.
It's like a rom-com kind of style font.
It's a normal font.
Yeah, it doesn't feel superhero-y.
It's just a font.
It's not like the W from the Wonder Man and then Wonder Man. You know what I mean? Like it's which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's
we don't even get like a costume like once.
Yeah, and I love
and it's in his last scene where he's like playing to a tennis ball when they have to recast Trevor, which I thought was kind of I thought that was kind of like on the nose funny.
Yeah,
because like I'm like, this is like, how many times have we talked about this when we're like Army of the Dead with was it Chris D'Elia who was taken out?
Yes. Yeah. That was
with Tig Notaro.
Yeah.
I mean, this was this.
No, this is technically that.
That's it.
Yeah. Like digitally, like put into the movie. Again, I did think seeing Joey Pants come back at the end was funny. He was great. Just seeing him for that second and how he's talking to Simon in his house, and he's like, "Listen, acting's just a job." And then Simon's like, "Shut up, Joey Pantaleone," and he keeps saying his full name. I don't know. It's so funny to me. But yeah, man, I wholeheartedly recommend like Wonder Man. Like, I just think it was such a nice surprise, and I think it is a great change up to the formula that this is what I want to see more out of Marvel. Not this specific type of thing, but taking chances, which I don't think what's it called is going to be, unfortunately. Doomsday, it's going to be a lot of member berries and a lot of bringing people back. And, I'm kind of fine with that to a degree. I do think there is something new to seeing those old X-Men together with the Avengers.
I was going to say, I think any project Marvel does, regardless of what it is a risk. Wonder Man's a risk. Doomsday's a risk.
Especially.
Everything is a risk.
Well, I would say this is even more of a like creative risk in the way of like it's just so creatively different from the stuff that they put out.
But it also probably didn't cost them that much.
No, absolutely not. And that's great. That's what you want, I think, in this business. And
I mean,
it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, there's probably a few scenes in this that are CGI with the powers and like the smashing the table. I did like the family stuff too, like with his mom and how like divorced from his family he seems to be, and like this like they tell like an interesting family drama without really telling a family drama.
I think they just give enough of it. You see exactly what like his dynamic with his brother, with his mom, how his mom's always supportive, and even like
and the flashbacks with his dad, like in the last episodes when he goes to take him to see Wonder Man, and I think they're dropping Eric off at school. And,
it's like, oh, you're sick.
They see the bully, and he like totally pans into it, and he's like an immigrant. But
they're
like,
Haitian.
Which
I liked.
Yeah, but like they're pretty integrated into American society. It's not like like his dad didn't feel like, oh, I don't understand America.
Right.
I almost tried to do like a Haitian accent there for a minute.
Thanks, Gooch.
That wouldn't have worked out well. But like, like he seemed like like it's just kind of different where like you would expect maybe his dad to like not like America or feel like he doesn't fit in, but like he seems totally integrated into the culture.
Well, and he loves the culture. Yeah,
that he's bringing
the pop culture specifically.
They're getting burgers after the movie. It's not very like sure, it's cultural, like their family, but like he likes American shit, and he's showing his son like Wonder Man, and it's not anything special from like what anyone else would see.
And he seems like the first guy that believed in Simon. Like even when he's talking about him in the play, and he's like, "You were great, man. Like, no, keep trying that. Like, this could be something for you." Like, and then
Did they ever explain what happened to him?
No, I think he just dies. I would assume of like a natural cause.
It's
of some
interesting
kind.
that it doesn't come up as like a trauma point.
Right. And I think it kind of does, like in the way they show it in the way of like, yeah, he misses, like his dad was one of his like truest believers.
Right.
And, like,
when they're on the red carpet, Dad would have loved to see this.
he would have been amazing.
Cool,
it would have been amazing. And he was working towards it for that.
Doesn't even really need to be said.
No. So it's, I think all of the family stuff is definitely really great. And even, the come around of his brother and like that moment that they have at the end where he's like, I really liked it. And he's like, I really liked you in it. And he's like, thanks, brother. And he gives him a hug and all that. Like it's great. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. Before we get to the end and close out, what did you think of like the publicist for the New York Times and that arc where it's like he's kind of revealing the shit more for Trevor?
That was a good twist. I didn't expect that. I will say. Yeah.
And then we talked about like taking the fall, but like I thought it was like an interesting sort of path. Like I looked at the episode titles, I was like, what?
Yeah, they're weird, and even the descriptions of them are kind of funny. It was like. One was like, "Don't let your kid grow up to be a cowboy" or something like that. And
and with like the girlfriend too, and they get back together, and it's like it's interesting.
You would assume there would have been more. Like he's trying to get back.
Right. Like they're there to be like, what did you tell them? And it's interesting that she knows.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me. Like she said, she's like, Simon, I lived with you for 3 years. You don't think I noticed anything? Like I don't care about that side of you. I realized that you were hiding it, but like she was just like, I wish you trusted me enough to tell me. That's another thing.
And the last episode was interesting after the Wonder Man premiere, and he, makes up this excuse to some guy
shadow like a guard, right? Like at the facility.
Right. I'm gonna shadow you because we're making a movie, and I don't think about him, but like about who that kind of person,
right?
And he gets into the DODC. And frees Trevor because I was wondering, I'm like, what is this?
What's gonna happen? Yeah, I was confused too.
I wasn't sure where it was going. And I'm like,
I picked it up like a little
building, and then they showed the logo. I was like, okay.
And because when he was talking to him about the work, that's when I picked up on it. He's like, well, I had to use a fake
what
name
does he do
and all
for
that.
Work? Yeah.
And then you kind of see him in his full power, like which I thought was cool. I like the look of his it's like ionic energy or something, but he can apparently fly. That's cool. I liked it a lot, dude. I did.
Yeah, I like the finish, and I'd be cool if it just stayed there.
Right.
I think Simon could easily come into something again, but it's the question of like, what are we gonna see in Doomsday and Secret Wars? Like, are we she I know that there's been a lot of rumors about Tatiana Maslany not necessarily coming back to do Shield.
Yeah, but I don't think that she said that's false. I know recently.
Yeah,
she's like, that's not true.
I'm seeing stuff about that. Kate.
I saw somebody even said like Mark Ruffalo's
not Kate Winslet. What the fuck's her name? Ewan McGregor's wife.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
Her coming and like replay. I'm like, where is this coming from?
It's all just like people making up things until they stick. But I know she just said recently, like, no, I'm still She-Hulk. Like that's not true. So I don't know. And then there was something I saw, like they were saying Mark Ruffalo got fired, and then like Chris Hemsworth was like, no, like we would fucking boycott if they did that. Are you crazy? Or something like that. Which I appreciate. That's very cool camaraderie. Yeah, Wonder Man. Wonderful time, honestly, for me. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I guess it's just like what I need from Marvel is for it to start over.
Sure, but
I think that's real. Like I'm just kind of at the point where I'm a bit exhausted, and I didn't necessarily want to go and really want to watch this show. I was kind of actually very uninterested, but I came away and I found some value out of it. But yeah, I like reviewed it on Letterboxd, and I gave a pretty good review, but I gave it like 3.5 stars out of 5, which I never bring up, but just to kind of give you a point where I am. Like I liked it, but like there are some parts I didn't like, which are the non-Marvel-y parts, which is what this was really leaning into, and that's why I asked the question what I did. It's like, does being far away from Marvel make a Marvel project good now? Like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I think being different makes a Marvel project good now.
Right, but
like it's not like.
And what does different look like within like Born Again is not different.
No, that's a very classical style of comic book retelling.
Like was Deadpool and Wolverine different? Like I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
It was.
It was like a movie 43 version of a superhero movie.
But
or
it's also like not at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And again, you can.
Such an interesting conversation.
It is. And a lot of people, as they do, will turn on that movie after a while and be like, "Well, it's just member berries." And it's like, yeah,
right.
What were you like?
Right, we got more negative when like we're a few months away.
And that's just the way it always
Deadpool
goes.
And Wolverine. It's like, well, is it good that it was just member berries the movie? Yeah.
And I also don't think that movie was. I think there was like some interesting plot threads, but that's a whole nother kind of topic. Again, I think it comes down to giving these creatives the creative freedom to make something that's, they believe in. And I felt like the people in this believed in it. The people making this believed in it. You know what I mean?
It is Daniel Day Cretton.
And it comes through on screen, through the actors, through the writing, through the story. You feel it. And guess what? I didn't feel that in Captain America: Brave New World. Like that just felt like I didn't hate that movie by any means.
It's funny,
but it felt very much cookie cutter Marvel.
I need to remember that every Marvel project, when it's like that, I'm going to come lower on it. So I should come lower on the review, because I'm sure when we talked about that, I was probably like, I think we both were probably like,
it's fine. I remember
and
yeah,
positive, but like at the end of the day, no, we're probably
no. That's probably where I'm at. Yeah, like I'm like it was fine.
Right?
Like, yeah,
right.
like it was.
But like when we think about it and we talk about it way out of the moment, we're probably like, yeah, Brave New World like kind of sucked, like in certain ways.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so weird. That's why.
Well, hindsight's always.
I think that's just the worst part of talking about Marvel. I don't think I could get lower on Wonder Man. I actually don't, because it is so different.
And I was gonna say, I don't think that's exclusively a Marvel problem. By the way, that's like every single thing that comes out now. It sucks a year after it's done. So that's just everything we love is terrible. So that's just the way. That's just the way it goes now.
Yeah.
The negativity creeps in. But anything else, huge?
No, that doesn't.
Wonderful. Thank you all for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search our name on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, Discord channel, all that good stuff will be linked down below for you. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We are happy to get back to you. All this information is on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. I don't know if I just repeated myself. But for Gooch,
I think about it. If it's all right.
I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We will see you next time.